All over the world, we're seeing reports of health workers who are overworked, under-equipped, scared. Some are afraid to go home because they might infect their families. Some are even walking off the job because they don't have the PPEs they need to work safely. Never has there been a more appropriate time to focus on health workers, and rarely have they faced such danger on a massive scale as we're seeing it with the virus. But what are the Nigerian government's obligations to keeping frontline health workers across the country safe? We have Dr. SAFIYA Ojo, a consultant family physician and clinical director of Trust Charities Hospital in Abuja. She joins us on the program from Abuja studios. Glad to have you on the program. Thank you for joining us. Let's begin by asking...
Thanks for having me.
...what your thoughts are with regards to what are the things frontline workers need to battle COVID-19, and are we getting it?
Thank you very much. COVID-19 is a battle, we know it's a pandemic, which has affected a lot of countries. It has resulted in a large death toll in some parts of the world. So having personal protective equipment is mandatory for all health workers if we want to win the battle against COVID-19. You can't be a health worker, you don't have face masks, you don't have protective gadgets to use when you come in contact with patients. So because they also have to protect their lives. So all these things has to be put into consideration. They need to protect the right equipment in all hospitals. They need to ensure that all these health workers are properly protected so that they can also see patients. You won't have the cases of doctors trying to run out of some hospitals when they have cases of patients suspected of having COVID. So I think the best thing to do is the government should ensure all the personal protective equipment, that's the PPEs, should be made available to every hospital, clinic, even the isolation centers. These things are not money intensive. They are things we can actually produce in the country if we want to, or make sure it's readily available to all health workers. So by so doing, I think the health workers will be encouraged to try and do their best to make sure patients are being seen and treated for COVID-19. So I think a lot has to be done when we're talking about trying to provide the gadgets needed. It's something that can be provided. It's not something that is what they need to work with. So I think government should try and ensure that and make sure all hospitals are well equipped. All the necessary equipment for health workers, doctors, nurses, and other health workers to work with is made available. And that brings us to the point of, okay, trying to talk about the warning strike now. Because you can't have a pandemic that is overwhelming, and at the end of the day, you're not even paying them what they need to be paid. All the promises you made, this is even the best time to ensure that all payments, allowances, hazard allowances, and every other payment is being made. That will even make them to enjoy the work more and try to do their best for patients. These are people, the doctors, the nurses are from families. They need to be protected against COVID-19 too. So I think talking about combating and the war against COVID-19, all these things has to be made very available. It shouldn't be an issue. Talking about PPEs should be made available. A lot of funds have been donated for this COVID-19. You just need a fraction, a small fraction of it. Although a meeting was held yesterday with health workers, some of the ministers involved, that talked about the fact that all those things that the health workers asked for will be provided. So I think that should be made available within these 2 weeks.
All right. The question a lot of people are asking, Dr. Joe, the question a lot of people indeed are asking is that they hope that the federal government and state governments are listening and also elevating the voices of frontline workers with regards to exactly what they need so that they can provide it. But I must quickly ask you about the new novel coronavirus and how it has affected family health. And seeing as you're a consultant in that field, how do you distinguish between common cold and bronchitis and, COVID-19?
Okay, thank you very much. Talking about COVID-19 and its symptoms, Yes, COVID-19 could actually, you know, it's a novel virus, which means it's a new virus. There's new strain of coronavirus. Coronavirus is not a new virus per se, but this strain we are having is a new strain of coronavirus. Usually, virus infections go unnoticed sometimes. You could even be asymptomatic, or maybe come with mild symptoms of catarrh, cough, cold, and at the end of the day, it's gone. But we know COVID-19 can cause both mild, moderate to severe illnesses, even requiring ICU care. So I think COVID-19, yes, the symptoms are cough, difficulty in breathing, chest tightness. You have some other symptoms like GIT symptoms like diarrhea and other GIT, vomiting. But there is a way we can differentiate this. COVID-19 symptoms similar to malaria. Some of the symptoms are also similar to pneumonia, the normal bacterial pneumonia that's been there for years. We have viral pneumonia, we have other types of pneumonia. But now that we should have high index of suspicion because the symptoms are similar. If you're treating malaria is not going, you should have a high index of suspicion. Okay. Then when you have any of these symptoms, rare symptoms like anosmia, you can't even smell something, you're having some symptoms that you're not having again before, constant headaches and all that, you should seek for care. Ideally, a lot of people should be tested, even without symptoms. But now, because we don't have provision for that, a lot of people should be tested. I say people that go to hospital for one reason or the other should actually be tested for COVID if the resources are made available. So the major symptom we're talking about, even the fever may not be present in some people. We know that it should be fever. You may not have all the symptoms. It may even go unnoticed in some people. Some people may even be asymptomatic, not even having any symptom.
I wish we had a lot of time, but we'd like to thank you. Lots of points there made, especially mentioning the high index of suspicions. But we would like to thank you. Hopefully we'll have you again. Dr. SAFIYA, consultant, family physician, clinical director of Trust Charities Hospital. Thank you for joining us on the program.
Thank you for having me here.